said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
So the court was asking you to pay for a child that's not yours.
Exactly.
When a divorced dad was ordered to pay child support for a child who isn't his, we uncovered it's perfectly legal for the state to order him to pay support for another man's child.
That's line number one. The Secretary of the U.S. DHHS, pursuant to 42 U.S.C. Section 654, 3, not the state, required the establishment of the alone, detached, and disconnected organizational unit in the state. Meaning the 4D crime family operating in Michigan issued the order, not the state and not the court.
But the Friday before Father's Day, Joe got a letter in the mail from friend of the court.
Never ever never accept zip-coded mail from the 4D crime family.
I said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
The letter said he owed $8,500 in back child support plus medical expenses for a baby his ex-wife had with another man.
I said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
The original law was written back in 1956.
I said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
What's the biggest problem with the law and the language, would you say?
It's not clearly drafted.
Melissa Drake is Joe's attorney.
As you well know, counsel, I really don't think we speak English. We speak another language. It's called legalese.
I went to Ottawa County Friend of the Court office to get answers. How is this legal?
To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
I said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
Michigan legislature compiled laws. 8.41 compilations of laws and compilation of rules. Sector 1. The Legislative Council shall provide for the compilation of all general laws in force and shall make this compilation available to the general public. So what gives Michigan 4D laws its force?
I said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
Statutes are particular laws enacted and established by the will of the Legislative Department of Government. Statutes are the written will of the legislature, solemnly expressed according to the forms necessary to constitute it the law of the state. Consent means voluntarily yielding your will to the proposition of another. Acquiescence or compliance therewith.
I said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
The Declaration of Independence talks about government receiving its just powers from the consent of the governed.
I said, I do not consent and I waive the benefit.
What's important to note about this process is that according to the Declaration of Independence, it is supposed to be voluntary and consensual. That's why government can only wield those powers which the individual is at liberty to wield and to give to the government.
Meaning, I do not consent to you making any legal determinations against me. I do not consent to your jurisdictional claims against me, and I do not consent to contracting with me. Quite final with that. And because I...
Hotep, you now know that statutes are not laws. They are legislative rules of society that have the force of law. The only thing that can give any force is your consent. All governments derive their just power from the consent of the governed, which means if you don't consent, they have no just power. You have your assignment. I look forward to hearing your report. Hotep.